Ladies and gentlemen, I keep telling y'all that I'm bringing you the best of the best. And realistically, what I'm blessing y'all with, what I'm blessing y'all with, make sure y'all can hear this, because that's a hit single that she's on right now. We're going to get in that a little later. But let me make sure y'all hear this and understand this very, 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 very well. What I bring to you tonight is one of the founders of this Sacramento typhoon in this music game. When I tell you that she has been around the world and I mean just that. We are talking to somebody who is, or who knows the struggle of the independent grind.
Yes.
Who knows how to get up and get it when it's a major grind.
Yes.
We know when this person knows when something's not good and we need to shake it off and start it again. We know this person has got a tremendous team. We know that this DNA line that's kicking out over here is kicking out truly superior beings.
Aww.
And just for the simple fact that I'm blessed to know who this person is and have a history from growing up in the game, it is an absolute honor to be able to finally get her to sit her ass down and chop it up with some people for just a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the entire West Coast, Vegas, Texas, Atlanta, Detroit Boogie, shout out Two Fingers,
Hey, I want to
Cape Town, Africa. Oh, we go.
Chicago. Oh, okay.
Shy Boogie, Chicago, Cape Town, Africa, and yes, indeed,
Wow.
Brazil. I would love to be able to embrace this honor and actually make this and let it be known that it's an absolute pleasure to introduce Miss Sene Goss.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Sharon.
Hey,
How you doing?
I'm doing good now.
That is quite an intro.
Well, it's quite a person who I'm having to introduce.
Thank you. I've honestly never been introduced like that. So thank you.
I have really been
and also,
thinking about that.
Dad says to tell you hi.
See, you said that automatically made me want to sit up straight and be like, what I do wrong?
That's what he said.
Because we'll say hi back.
Anything wrong.
We'll say hi back, but you know that was like.
We'll see. I think so. We probably have to explain the history.
Okay, I'll go there. So,
Okay.
the history that we are talking about here is during my adventure and my journey through this music game, I was blessed to become part of an actual pioneer father of 103.5 The Bomb. And through that journey, I got to know Mr. Tommy Goss, the father of the legend that we see here to my left. Tommy was fair. Tommy was a teacher. Tommy gave me game. He gave me professionalism. He taught me a lot.
He didn't take the shit.
Oh, that's one thing that he definitely taught me too. Don't take no shit in this game.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Tommy Tommy is Chi-Town finest. You know how in the summers it get real hot in Chicago and they start everywhere? Tommy was walking amongst them
With no gun.
unmoved, like no
Yes, he
gun.
was.
He didn't give a damn. He wish you would.
Yes.
And he was the nicest, kindest, most gentlest person until you took him there and Chi-Town whooping your ass. Now, it's funny how the Lord will take those people. Yeah, you like that? How the Lord will take those people and let them walk their path and create this person that your human earthly form is going to walk in. But then he'll let you walk so far and he'll be like, okay, now I'm gonna take over. And he took this Chi-Town boogie, walking amongst warriors, gangsters, killers, the whole thing. And he took him, moved him to Cali, and put in his heart the gospel. But don't get it twisted. It's a plenty of reverends and first moms and mothers of the
Hilarious.
church. They got no problem with taking the belt off, making you go get a switch and whooping that ass.
This is also fact.
Mr. Goss is one of those. Mr. Goss would have been that deacon. It would have been, as we wilding out on the side on the pews and talking.
Now, I'll tell you exactly.
There it is.
Dad was over all the music. So the thing that a lot of people don't know about Dad is he's a musician. He's also an actor. Everyone knows Mom because Mom tends to be out there for singing, but Dad was the one that introduced my sister and myself to playing musical instruments. We saw Mom on stage, but Dad created those opportunities to put us on stage. That's what people don't know. So back home in Illinois, we're from a small town called Kankakee. It's just south of Chicago.
Swear it. You from a small town called who what?
Kankakee. A lot of people think it's in Hawaii. It's not.
It
It's
sounds
in the
very
state.
Hawaiian.
It's in the state of Illinois. It's
So you
just
can go there and get the greatest pineapples ever.
furthest state from the truth. You can go in there and dodge bullets, but hey. So anyway, that's where we were, and Dad was the promoter. Like he was that guy. The same way he's that guy here, he was that guy even back in Illinois. And my mother, being a daughter of a minister, once Mom and Dad got together, they met in high school. Well, they actually met in elementary, but Mom was the preacher's daughter, and they're the first family, so they got the cars and the stylish, you feel me? And Dad was just this, the not necessarily the blue collar family, if you will, but my granddad. No, not really. my dad's side of the family, they were entrepreneurs. Like my granddad owned a restaurant, all those things. But in either case, both families ended up moving to the country in the 60s, and Mom and Dad went to an elementary school in a rural part of Illinois. Went to high school together. Dad thought Mom was too good for him, but somehow they ended up together. Dad was the drummer, Mom was the lead singer, but Dad also played brass instruments. He played football, he played baseball, he ran track. You know what I mean? Like he was an all-out dude. So seeing him as who he is now, you would know that that's how. We don't just get this from anywhere.
No.
We don't just get it from our mom. It also came from Tommy Goss as well. So shout out to Dad. You feel me?
Shout out Mr. Goss.
Dad was the workhorse. Dad was the one that really pushed us. I got sat out of many of choirs because Dad was like, "You talking too much. Go sit down."
I done been sent to my desk to make sure that I got a certain proposal done the right way and put in these phone calls, and it wasn't. I couldn't be punished, but he had this look that I do believe he actually cut through steel one time to stare at me, and I'm like, oh, okay,
I can see that.
I get it.
I can see.
I get it.
I can see that. Yeah.
And then it was always the constant thing, like, cause he knows my mom.
Right.
And he would, every now and then he was like, "Boy, I'm gonna call your mama." Wait a minute, hold on.
You're a whole grown.
What? Hey, mom is mom.
Period.
Mom's is mom. That she could walk in here right now and I can.
Right.
It is what it is.
Yeah, that was the one that gave us that work ethic when it came to music. My mom she was the voice, so Dad made it possible. He supported her, and he was the MD at my granddad's church, and then we ended up, going to a different church. He was over the choir there, but even in the secular world, Mom did a lot of background vocals for house artists in Chicago. We were Dad built a full-on studio in the basement, had a stage. Mom's posters were all over the basement. The same way that people know me in the music scene, at least in the R&B scene here, that's kind of how Mom was back in Chicago. Saw Mom on TV, heard Mom on radio, so it was kind of inevitable, considering this was our life. The first time I had a mic in my hand, I was 2 years old. So what was I supposed to do? You know what I mean? What was I expected to do? I did my first musical at 3.
You better eat that cake anime.
Listen, you know what I'm saying?
You gonna eat this cake anime.
And it's you know how people like to call it a blessing and a curse. I think I wouldn't like to call it a curse, but it is a blessing and it is a gift, and there's a lot that comes with that. That's how I like to put that, because I don't think you can ever be gifted and cursed at the same time. I don't like to put those two in the same category.
Okay.
There's never a curse on my gift. You know what I mean? That's kind of different for me to say something like that.
Okay.
But it was having the gift of song is something that I was born with, but being a performer, that's something that kind of came naturally. But you still have to know um, when to turn it on, when to turn it off, how not to let people take advantage of you, how not to let people force you to live out their dreams, which is what I did from my late teens to my 20s to my 30s, and now for the first time ever here, I'm 43, and I feel like I'm finally able to really harness my own career. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, mom was a superstar in Chicago.
Yes.
You've recently come back. Well, we won't say recently, but you back home from Chicago.
Correct.
Music scenes, because I won't even say Sacramento because it's two different universes. So
Yeah.
music scene Cali to music scene Chicago. How? What's the big difference there?
To be honest with you, when I was in Illinois, I was in the country. That was kind of time for me to heal, so I didn't get a chance to really work like I wanted to work. However, I did get a chance to work with a poet and a director out there. I did a commercial, so I got a chance to do something, and I got a chance to do a few photo shoots and audition. However, none of us knew what was going to be around the corner. We left at the end of 2019. Lockdown was just around the corner, so no one knew that was coming. However, just growing up in the scene, everyone's a lot more disciplined. Um, Whether you are local, national, or international, there is a very high standard that we hold ourselves to. Like I said, my dad is the reason why I have the work ethic that I have when it comes to this music industry. I will be in the studio for hours, and a lot of that was cultivated even more on the professional scene by some people here locally, namely Brian Alexander Morgan, the producer of pretty much all of SWB's hits. I had the opportunity to meet him when I was 19. He and I are still very close, but we worked closely together from the time I was 19 till about, I would say, maybe 25.
Morgan's a beast.
Yeah, and he helped me garner my studio etiquette. So, on the professional side, once I came out from up under mom and dad's wings, or their covering, should I say, I, was under Brian Morgan and then DOA. But that work ethic came from being in the Midwest. Like, we take what we do very seriously. We don't show up because someone asked me to do a gig. I show up because someone asked me to do a gig, but I also love what I do. I take what I do very seriously, and a lot of people have looked at me doing certain gigs like, why would you do that? Well, because I'm a singer. You know what I mean? I'm a singer first. Just because other people think I should be in the forefront, or people have seen me in the forefront, doesn't mean that that's always where I was. I grew up in singing in choir, so I just love to sing, period. And a lot of people don't know I love singing background. I love being the support. I love being able to blend and color. I like that. I'm a creative, period. So people are like, why are you singing in the background? It's what I love to do. I don't have an issue supporting people. But even as a background singer, I'm going to bring my best. So I said all that to say that what I've noticed in Sacramento in particular is a lot of people don't necessarily respect the craft, or they don't respect the art. They don't respect the gift. They show up to a gig because they're getting played, and, oh, I don't really care about that song. You're not getting paid to like the song. You're getting paid to play the song.
Right.
That's like somebody calling me and asking me to do a background gig, and I'm like, oh, I don't care for this song. Sing the song. That's not what people ask me to do. So whether you're asking me to feature, whether you're asking me to open, whether you're asking me to sing background, whatever it is that you're asking me to do, I'm gonna bring 100% because I love to sing, period. I just happen to have had opportunities to be in front, to be on stages with with groups like the Black Eyed Peas and do arenas. I happen to have been blessed to have had those opportunities to do other things outside of Sacramento. But yeah, coming back here, it's been very different. I'm approaching it very differently, and that's That's what I know. That's the difference I've
So we
noticed.
just don't say the word different, right? That's what we're gonna go ahead and be. Put no description to it. Just
No,
different.
it is different because you can't fault people for having been exposed to a certain standard.
The fuckery. Sorry.
And if no one comes in and challenges that standard consistently, then you get what you get. And, it's tough to come back after having the experiences that I've had. It's tough to be around.
The fuckery.
It's a different mindset.
The fuckery. Because I'm ready to be. I done been in some of them studios with some of these fuckery ass people come through and waste time. I've been in the studio for 4, 6, 8 overnight hours, and you get one song there. Like, I'll never come back to the studio again with you, bro, because you keep talking, you playing. I'm about to chop you in your throat. You ain't gonna never be able to talk again.
Now that is the actual music scene. As an artist that's the music scene in Sacramento. But as an artist in Sacramento, I can say that for the last 20 plus years, I've been truly supported by Sacramento. The community of Sacramento has really supported me. The people of Sacramento have really supported me from 19 up until Saturday. People show up and they show out for me, and people are like, some people get so frustrated, so disappointed, and they're like, well, you don't have any music out, or you don't have this, and you've never done an album. And I say this: everyone's level of success is different. Society has said that you have to chase a golden calf. Society says that you need to be pushing for billboards. Society says that you need to be pushing for radio play. Society says that you need to be pushing for a Grammy. You need to be pushing for this. You're not on TV. Listen, this is a gift. This is something I was gifted with. There is no, how do you want to say? You can't box in a gift and say, well, this is the level of success that you should be attaining. You should be going here. Now, I get it. Everyone feels like, well, if you have this type of voice, well, you should be doing this with it. You should be doing that with it. Well, there's a couple of things there. Everyone's level of success is different. Just because everyone has received that gift doesn't mean that they have the ability to operate in bigger spaces. They may not be called to bigger spaces. God may be calling them to, no, I want to put you right here. And you have to be okay with that. I remember when we had that opportunity to do the Black Eyed Peas, that was intimidating for me. It really was.
Damn near scary.
Yeah. To go from being in Sacramento, no, it isn't a small feat to do Harlow's consistently and have sold out a couple times. Like, that's a big deal. Not a lot of people are able to do that. I can say that I've been able to do that, and I'm grateful and honored that Sacramento did that for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all paid to come see me. But when we did that Black Eyed Peas tour, that was arenas, and I was like,
yeah, thousands.
okay, tens. Staples Center. Well, we were supposed to do Staples Center. We didn't do Staples Center. We joined them in Glendale, but we had the opportunity to do Arco Arena, and that was amazing. I'm one of 2 people in Sacramento and one of 3 people in Northern California to say we did that. We had that opportunity. But what I like to be able to do is I like for people to be able to say, oh my God, you're so dope, and I'm right here. Like, you can reach out and touch me. Like, I'm not untouchable. I like being able to connect with people. I like being able to talk to people. I like being able to tell people, hey, the same thing I'm doing, you can do that too. I didn't like that I didn't have that. I couldn't have that one-on-one interaction with people when we were doing the tour. There was a young lady, and we were in, I want to say New Mexico.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Thank you.
We were in New Mexico, and she was disabled. She was in her wheelchair, and she got up. We were in the nosebleeds, and we're, passing out CDs. We're, meeting and greeting and talking to folks. And she got up out of her wheelchair, and she was on her walker, barely walking, coming towards me. I'm, if you know me, I'm balled up under here, Same old Paul head. She walks over to me. She's like, I just wanted to tell you that you're an inspiration. You saw this little raised head from all the way up here and all the way down there. I inspired you. Like I couldn't. I thought that I needed to be this close to somebody to be an inspiration. That was a big deal for me. I wanted to talk to her. I wanted to, and my manager was like, "No, let's go." I was like,
That's the business.
she got up and got out of her.
That's the business.
So people say, "Well, why do you think you haven't made it?" I don't know what that means per se, but why I haven't done other things aside from the Black Eyed Peas tour, and I have been a grassroots local artist because I like community. I like being able to touch people. I like being able to teach people. I like being able to, that's just who I am.
But seeing other artists in the city, I think that's kind of been their downfall also, because people have too much access to them.
So to that point, I agree. You're right. But that's why you don't see me on every stage, every week, every month, every year. That's why I do go away. I don't mind going into hiding. You know what I mean? There was a time in my life, 2018, for the first time, I was going through a very, very transformative stage in my life. And I remember during this healing process, if you will, I only had enough energy to literally just lay on the floor. I couldn't do anything. I didn't have any more tears. I couldn't cry anymore. And I just started humming, and I started feeling the vibration of my own voice. And I started humming and singing. And for the first time, I had like this out of body, whatever you want to call it, experience. And I felt what my voice made other people feel like. I healed myself. And at that point, I had a completely different perspective on singing. I didn't want to sing to entertain. I didn't want to sing for hand claps. I wanted to sing to heal. And that's something totally different. When you want to show up to heal and shift and move things, you have to preserve yourself. I'll go away for a year or 2 or 3 or 4. I'm okay with that. Because every time I come back, you're going to get something different. You're going to get something fresh.
That's true, because when you were singing, you disappeared and came back in Black Eyed Pea mode.
Yes.
That was the biggest change I've ever seen you go through.
Yeah.
And it was night
and I was with a whole child too.
and day.
Yeah.
Like you went away and came back, and I was like, "That's Sene."
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're creating a demand, and you create your own demand for yourself by going away like that, come back, change. Because it's like you said, people don't. I mean, me, I don't. You can't put you in a lane, can't put you in a box, because you never know what you're gonna come back as.
But the same way you grow in life, like I can't be stagnant in life, so I can't be the same as an artist. I can't show up, even if it's about putting out music. Okay, cool. It's about putting out music. But if I have a gift, and if I'm a messenger, and if I'm a vessel, and if what my goal is to deliver a message through song, whether that's showing up to a live show, whether that's doing Instagram, whether that's putting out live music, whatever that looks like, that's what I have to do. But I have to also evolve as an artist to make those changes happen. I can't stay the same. Okay. And so I can't be seen when I'm making those changes either. Just like,
You're quick to disappear.
Yeah, and
Ninja.
Yeah, and I don't mind that. I don't.
Yeah, but we miss you. You disappear in the middle of a conversation. Like, she was just right here. Where'd she go? 2 years later, here you come back. Long hair. A week later, no hair. You're like, girl.
I'm a creative.
You are truly an artist.
I am.
Because you have these things. Like, this is like, I think through all the years, this might be like the 3rd or 4th time I've seen you go, I'm cutting it all off.
Yes.
But I've seen you with hair to your shoulder.
Yes.
I've seen you. I have seen you. Like, it's hard to even go back through all the moods. Straight hair, curly hair, afro.
Locks.
Yeah, the whole thing. Like, you really get into your artistic impression or expression. Artistic
expression, and that's just who I am. That has nothing to do with stage. That has nothing to do with, how people see.
Naturally weird.
I'm just
You got your naturally weirdo going
Wow.
on. Hey, I love you, but yeah, you get your natural on. Natural weirdo.
That is not
But
weird.
it is, and I say it this way because if you look at true artists or true, um, just amazing people to themselves, they always have these things about them that the community or somebody who hasn't really been able to look into that world comes off as a weird thing.
Well, and I think it comes off as weird because we aren't afraid to be ourselves.
Which is
And so
very rare these
to
days.
call that weird is almost like a slap in God's face because
Not
if
really,
no
I
no
ain't
no
that tall.
hold on because if God created me that way and if God is the creator, then being a creative, I think, is as close to God as you can get. When you truly tap into that and you allow yourself to really sit in that and be that, there's something about being around a person that exudes that. People can't explain it because it is a God like, not a God energy, a God like presence and or energy that comes with that person. And so,
Well, let me go
for
ahead,
us,
before you go on, let me go ahead and correct that one because if you really want to get into it,
yeah,
God's a weirdo.
you think
And
so?
yeah, because God, you got to think about it. And what you just said,
Mm.
think about what God has created on this planet we call Earth.
It's beautiful. It's, amazing.
It's
It's uniquely different.
But how did he? It was his weirdness that said, "I want grass to be green. I want this orange to be orange. I want this person to have
I
dark
guess
skin, that person to
I guess
have light
well here's the thing.
skin."
I guess I have a the word weird triggers me and here's why. Because it's been shot at me negatively all of my life.
Well, it's not a negative shot.
I know, but I'm saying you have to understand
I get it.
when people say things like that, for people that are creatives, it sends us literally back into a shell. Like, oh God, people think I'm weird. We don't
See,
want to.
nah, I feel bad.
No, don't feel bad. I'm just saying, like, we are like Erica Badu said, we are sensitive. We are because in order for us to be able to express in that way, we got to be able to feel. We got to be able to do what we want to do because God can't even pour into us if we're blocked and if we're not open, and people don't understand that. And I think that's why we like, we like uniquely different. Some people are like, you're weird, and I'm like, am I weird or is it just something that you don't understand?
Well, let me first be the one to say because I apologize.
No, don't apologize.
The views. Look, if weird is a bad word, then we're gonna say Miss Sene is
No.
uniquely different, and I
Thank you,
put
I
her in the
appreciate it.
category in the lane of unique differences, like Michael Jackson, like Prince, and if you want to keep it 1,000, the Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah,
Ain't nothing. That whole group is uniquely different
absolutely.
in itself.
I agree.
And I do believe that's what they got to credit their fame from.
Yeah, I think it's also courageous. Creatives are courageous. And to be honest with you, I've explained this to people, and I explain it to people often. There's a difference between gifted
Somebody
and
said eccentric.
yes, yes, and there's a difference between gifted
Shout out
and
Papa San.
talented. What's up, Papa Sign?
That's fine.
And gifted people are born with a gift, right?
Right.
Whether it's producing, playing music by ear, whether it's dancing, whatever it is that you're able to do with your hands and your body, whatever it comes out of you naturally, you're gifted with that. And there are people who are talented. They go to school and they learn the skill. A lot of those people that are skilled and talented, they want the spotlight. People like us, we want to go home and go to bed. And the reason is because that's a lot. People don't understand that we don't always want to be out there. There is a calling on us. That's intimidating. That's intimidating for us.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we already sometimes don't even want to be out here doing this. We feel exposed. We feel naked. We feel vulnerable because we're like, okay, here I am. I gotta go out here and do this again. I gotta expose my soul to these people. And it's almost like putting your baby out there. When I sing, I feel like I'm putting my baby out there for people to judge. And they may like it and they may not like it. I've gotten to the point where I don't care if you like it or not. Because now I do this because God said so. And I know the healing power that comes with what I do. So I approach it differently. But prior to, when I would put stuff out there, I would be afraid. Are they going to call it weird? They're going to like it? You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna regret that shit for the rest of
No,
my
you're
days.
not. No, no, no. I'm just letting you know, like the thoughts, some of the thoughts that go through a creative's mind. Those are some of the things that a lot of us think about, and we have a million and one thoughts, which is why people do turn to drugs and alcohol, uh, meditate, whatever it is. That's why you can find some of us disappear because it's like this is heavy. I don't actually want to do this right now. Do I have to? Yes, you do.
Yeah, but if it's a calling put on to you, yeah, you gotta walk that journey.
Yeah, it's tough.
So when do you, because 19 till Saturday,
Yeah.
when did you finally get to the point where you were comfortable in your own shoes?
2018. I was 39.
That's not that long ago.
Yeah, because I was living for everybody else. I was doing what everybody else thought I should do. I was singing songs that everybody else thought I should sing. So here's the thing, like I said, gifted and talented. Everybody in our family sings. That's just like if you grow up in a family where everyone is just naturally talented at doing hair. Like my mom's youngest sister, all of my cousins, they can draw, they do hair. That my cousin is a jewelry maker, you know what I mean? And they also do music. But they're known for a certain thing. This side is known for a certain thing, but we are all creatives, right? Singing in our family, that's just what everybody does. It's no big deal to us. And so other people are on the outside looking in like, wow. And we're like, what? So I didn't understand the magnitude of what it is that I had because I was continuing. I see with cowboy hat. I was
Shout out to
living.
bruh.
I was living other people's dreams for me and doing what other people thought. Not saying that the music I did was bad. None of it was bad. I had to go through all of those experiences to even get to where I am now. I would be in studio sessions. I think the thing that um, has also allowed me the opportunity to flow in and out of spaces for 20 plus years here in Sacramento. I'm very versatile. I'll do country, I can do pop, I can do rock, I can do pop rock, I can do gospel, R&B, whatever it is, I can do jazz, whatever it is, I can span the gamut when it comes to, well, what is it that you need, because I know that it is a gift and I'm not just stuck to doing, one particular thing. I don't limit myself in my creativity when it comes to my voice. But again, that's something that kind I did take advantage of for a while. And like I said, in 2018, I realized how precious it was. And I realized this isn't something that I want to take advantage of. This isn't something that I want other people to take advantage of. So I'm going to now sit back with this and I'm going to nurture it and I'm going to nurse it. And I'm only going to use it when I know that there is a platform for me to stand on where people need it. Not all the time do people need what you have. Like you said, making yourself accessible. When you are accessible to people all the time, your value decreases. And then you're
That's
not
facts.
missed. And then you don't sell out shows.
And that's a curse here in Sacramento, as far as my opinion of it. We have great artists, we have great talent in this city, and I do believe it is a curse because people can reach out and touch you. People can call you and ask for a free ticket all the time. It gets, as an artist, it gets to be irritating to where you don't even want to do it anymore. And it's some talent in this city that has actually quit doing music, and they really need to still be in the scene. I'm not gonna say any names,
Yeah.
but they know who I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
Now, with you
Yeah.
making an appearance again,
Yeah.
instead of going into the studio to lay down the norm. Because right now the norm is go lay down a single, do a video, throw it on YouTube, see if it gets response. With you getting a different look, are you going to ever sit down and possibly think about doing a project? Is that something that can possibly come out of
For sure.
your goo?
And I'll tell you, it is that's the challenge about being able to do multiple genres. It's like just because you can doesn't mean you should. So it's like which one, what genre not only best suits me, but is going to be the one that gets how can I deliver the message best? And it's been tough to really capture my sound. You know, I haven't. I've been able to work with a lot of people. Work with Brian Morgan and do some R&B stuff. I've been able to work with DOA and do Janet Jackson type sound and stuff. I've been able to work with Trackmatic and Keith Harris and do all the way EDM, dance, techno kind of like Black Eyed Peas type stuff, and then bring it all the way back to Bueno, and then we're doing rap. You know what I mean? So that is the thing that is uniquely different, but also challenging because it's like, well, what do I put out there? I put out. I worked with a DJ. Her name was DJ Jacko, and we did a song called "Shoulda Never" in 2017. I wrote and did the vocal production. She just produced the song, so it's kind of like a what's that guy?
Kind of like a Khaled.
Yes, exactly. But you don't actually hear it. So she's a like just a DJ. You don't hear her at all. Kelvin Harris, kind of like a Kelvin Harris with Usher and Rihanna and all them. And so we did that in 2017. I put my own record out at the end of 2017, and it was more of like a house dance joint. There is some music out with myself and Prototype, but that's just on SoundCloud. We didn't get a chance to actually complete that. You know, unfortunately, that was on me. That was a journey I cut short. You know, and I have some R&B stuff out there, old as well as new. I worked with another local artist, and we did a couple of duets together. And there were some remakes from back in the day, so that's out there. But to say that I have a sound. It's been tough to sit down and do a project. That has been the issue, or has been the thing that I run into.
I can see where that could be a problem because you don't know which direction to go in.
Yeah.
So it's not like you would do an album with. I mean, you could be different and do an album with all the genres on it, but it'd be a hard marketing situation.
The best way I can describe it is Janet. You know what I mean? Janet takes you there. She doesn't take you all the way one way or the other. She kind of keeps a very blended sound throughout her projects, but it's still Janet's sound because she's gotten with one producer and one production team, and she's stuck with those people. That's the thing. I have one opportunity where I had a production team, and I stepped away from that situation. It could have worked out, but life happens, and I made a different decision. I went down a different path, but that marriage, if you will, between artist and producer, when you find that vocal and that musical match, there's something in that, and if it starts working and starts aligning and it starts pulling in, stick with that. I think I'm talking to myself right now.
No.
Stick with that.
Okay.
Stick with that, and then once that does something and people start hearing you, then you can branch out into other things. Pink came at us doing R&B. This whole white girl with pink hair.
Okay.
Pink came at us doing
Great
R&B,
example.
right? With Babyface, right?
And she was bad.
And then she eventually ventured off into pop R&B, and now she's full on over there to the other side with alternative and folk music or whatever you want to call it. So there's a way to do it. You just have to be strategic, and I have to be honest. I haven't really had team, I think, that's been able to quite understand me. And of course they won't understand me if I don't know myself. So that's what has been going on since 2018 up until now. I've learned, still learning myself daily. But when it comes to music, I know right now I'm gonna get on the stage Saturday.
Now, shout out Blueprint Promotions.
Yes.
Shout
Blueprint
out to
Entertainment.
Blueprint
Yeah.
Entertainment. They've been in the city doing their thing
Yes.
for many years. Shout out to
Yes.
Mon. Uh, why do you? Because a lot of your great shows have come through Blueprint. Like, what is the connection with you and Blueprint? Like, what is the love there?
Well, so I've had a lot of good shows with other promoters as well. I think recently, um, Blueprint has been the most active,
That's true.
and what did Papa San say?
I'm sorry, I always say this stuff. You have to be the voice, been that
Of anything did you say?
makes the alpha. You can sing and make the alphabet sound good.
Thank you, Papa San. um,
You have the voice of an angel.
thank you, bro.
Papa San is really going in thick with it. Go ahead, man.
What was your question again?
I don't even remember. Like, what is
Oh,
the
you
work
were saying-
relationship between
okay,
you
so
and Blueprint?
so Blueprint. I think they started Soulful Saturdays. I want to say in 2015,
I
2016
remember Soulful
at
Saturdays and old Saturday.
yeah, and they called me to host one of the shows at Graciano's, and it was kind of a consistent thing from there. But my girl Shadia Powell, with Music Is Love Promotions, I've done a couple of shows with her as well that have sold out. At Harlow's, and so I think the thing is Blueprint right now. They're the ones that have been consistently bringing live R&B and keeping it alive and keeping live music at the forefront of Sacramento for the last few years. So, you know, I happened to be available. Demond hit me. He didn't know I was back in town. I was,
Yeah, you snuck back in Cali. We gonna get into that a little bit later, but yeah, you definitely snuck back into Cali.
Yeah, and he happened to hit me, and I was like, it was interesting. I can't quite say that I heard the yes. I'm very obedient. I'll say this. Since 2018, I've made it my life's work to be obedient, and I don't move and operate in in anything that I'm not supposed to be doing. If God says no, I'm not doing it. And it's not necessarily a verbal or it can be a feeling, it can be a whisper, it can come through whatever. But I saw the message, and I've just felt this. It felt like a yes. It felt like I should do this show. I should do this.
Now, do you already know the songs you will be singing? Do you already have that set, or
So
you just
it was
kinda-
interesting. As soon as I saw Demond's message, I didn't even respond. I created the set list within 20 minutes. Typically, I have to sit with a set list and sit with music. What am I going to do? I immediately knew exactly what I was going to do. That's how I knew I need to do this show. Why I need to do it, I haven't quite figured that out. I let go of the why. I'm just going to show up on Saturday and do what I'm supposed to do. It's going to be fun. It is a throwback to 80s and 90s music, but I'm also throwing some newer music, some newer artists in there that people have not heard of. I think that's another thing to these upcoming artists, or even people that are artists that are still out here doing their thing. A lot of people cry and say, I don't get no support from Sacramento. I don't get no support from Sacramento. Sacramento is hard to please. I'll tell you that. Sacramento is hard to please, and you have to know your audience. You have to know what it is that they like. You do have to cater to your audience.
Right.
And if they aren't familiar with your music, then you probably shouldn't perform your music. Not saying that you can't, but I know that is the thing that makes me also uniquely different as an artist in Sacramento. Yes, people still pay to see me do a show 20 plus years later, still singing cover songs, because I bring an experience. And I take other people's music and I make it my own while still paying homage to the original performer and artist of the music. Again, I'm a creative. People want to come and hear me sing. They like, I guess like Papa San said, I could sing the ABCs because it's an experience. You know what I'm saying? Again, people that are coming out doing their thing in Sacramento, doing your own music is not a bad thing, but Sacramento's picky. They're picky.
That's one word we can say about Sacramento. Yeah.
And they like consistency.
That they do. That they definitely do.
And so, if I'm showing up to sing cover songs and they're paying, why stop?
That is true.
You know,
If it ain't broke.
one of the biggest cover song bands out here in Sacramento, Hip Service. Nobody ever tells Hip Service, how come you guys aren't doing a solo album? Hip Service. Well, they're a cover band. Why is that an issue?
And been doing it for years.
Successfully.
Kaleo.
Yes.
Kaleo's on Hip Service. Been there for a
Yes.
few years now.
Jessica Jolia.
Yes.
Yardley Griffin.
Yes.
Melanie Owen. A lot of people. A lot of people. My sister, my younger sister, she sang with Hip Service.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, again, that goes back to, when people talk about, well, how come you haven't been out there? If that is a person's comfort level, and if that's where God uses them, then let that be. If people gonna show up to hear me sing cover songs, if I'm able to make money, okay.
Yeah. We buying groceries and paying bills and keeping the lights on. Leave me alone. Got it.
It ain't that yet. We working towards it. You feel me? That's another story.
That's what it is.
But yeah, I feel like I'm talking too much.
You were talking about never that. You were talking about production teams and having the right team and the right vibe and feel.
Yeah.
You kind of working on your own little production team. You've been in the making for that because your sons,
Yeah.
damn near. Well, the oldest is a top-notch producer. He got stuff everywhere right now.
He's an underground legend. I didn't even know. So my oldest son, he's 18, and his late father, rest his soul, Terrell Carter, also another local artist, Hito Romeo.
Shout out Terrell.
Yeah, he was also a singer, and when you have two parents that are in it like that, and it's not just two parents, it's both sides of the family. Like this dude has got it honest. On his dad's side, his dad, both uncles, grandmother, grandfather, family in LA. On my side, me, my mom, my dad, my granddad. You know what I mean? So it's not like it's just coming from one side and one parent. No, he has it honest. But my son is very much a person who is about not being in anyone's shadow. And so what he did was he went on his own and he did his own thing without saying anything. Years later, he's like, yeah, so this is what I've been doing. You got a whole 60,000 subscribers or monthly listeners on Spotify.
Yeah,
you're a part of production and music that's over 1 million and 2 million streams on SoundCloud. Bro, who are you? What's up, Brazil? Like, bro, who are you? So it was very interesting. And so recently,
shout out Brazil.
Recently he engineered a session for me, and it was dope. It was fun to be able to get to work with him in that way. And he was like, Mom, I hope you know you're the first artist I've ever engineered for. Like, I've never engineered a session. He's been doing his own thing with his friends online because that's kind of where we are now, right?
Now, when you was doing that session,
yeah,
did you have to consciously think, I have to step out of this mommy character and become an artist?
No, my baby has been around us since he was born, so it was natural for us. He already knew. All right, next, and I was able, the same way I would work with any other producer in any other space, whether it's LA, Atlanta, Sacramento, anyone else. We naturally fit. We just went right into it because he's been around it his entire life, and we had fun. It was fun, and it was good to give him that learning experience.
Okay, so when do we get to hear that magical song?
So that song is going to be coming out probably either October or November. That was with an artist in East Oakland, East Phantom Bay. Is his name East Bay Phantom,
Okay.
EPB. Yeah, he kind of has like a Mac 10 kind of sound, but he's a little more aggressive. I like the song. I like it. He saw me on either Bueno's or E40 story, and he reached out to me when E4. I mean, when Bueno and I dropped that song recently.
You was gonna say that like it was just it was something in the way on the E40 story.
No.
Yeah, yeah. I've been on stage with the Black Eyed
No,
Peas.
I don't mean to make it sound like that. I don't mean to make it sound
Well,
like
you
that.
always know I'm gonna mess with you.
I know.
But
I know.
the things that you say and the things that have been said about you are well deserved. To work with the son, to become his, I guess you could say, his own man in his game.
Yeah. He did everything away from us. He didn't want anyone to know that Sene was his mom, Ghetto Romeo is his father, Tommy and Van Goss are his grandparents. He didn't want that. He didn't want that.
He wanted it on his own.
Yeah.
He can't do nothing but respect it because.
And that is actually literally how he eats, unlike me. And I commend him on that. He learned from our mistakes, for sure.
Congratulations to him, because
Yeah.
to learn from other people's mistakes and your own mistakes and do it on your own, that took courage.
Yeah.
Bravo.
And and I'm not a person that I'm very accountable as a parent. They see me. They're right here with me. Like, I can't just try to cover up these mistakes and cover up. So I let them know, like, that ain't the way to go. I mean, if you want to go down the route that I went, sure. But let me tell you, I was grateful that he didn't ignore that wisdom. You know what I mean? I was grateful that he didn't ignore those conversations. And when I'm saying, son, I apologize. I should have went that way. You can go that way if you want to. But why?
Listen to the
When
cliff
you can
notes
go
of
that
life.
way. Why, you know what I'm saying? Why? And he sat back quietly, like, you're right. And he's 18 now, but it's getting to the point where I can even look at his at his facial expressions, and he's like, "That was dumb, Mom." You didn't have to say it. I'm just like, well, that wasn't a good idea. But you live and learn.
Yeah,
You live and learn. Yeah.
So here we are.
Yeah.
This Saturday.
Yes.
You are going to be performing live
At the Starlit Room. Yes.
at the Starlit Room.
Yes.
What time is the doors open for this?
Doors open at 7 p.m. We are at 2708 J Street, which is Harlow's, but we are above Harlow's. Which used to be Momo's Lounge. Doors open at 7. Opening act, Miss Lizzie Paris. She had her rehearsal last night. It was really good. It's going to be a dope set. I'm excited. I'm excited for people to see her. I'm glad that we selected her to open Lizzie Paris. And she literally just moved back to Sacramento like yesterday. From Philly. So when we reached out to her, when I hit her to ask her to do this gig, she was not in Sacramento. She said, but interestingly enough, I'll be back on the 1st. So I'm gonna do that show on the 3rd.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, so her set was great, and Kelvin Truitt is going to be hosting. A lot of you may know Danielle Truitt, who is from Sacramento, California. So that's some of you may know that last name from Danielle Truitt, who is on SVU, Law and Order, Organized Crime, is the new. They're on NBC.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so, Mr. Kelvin Truitt will be hosting the show. It's gonna be fun. He also just moved back to Sacramento, so it's very interesting how.
So this should be like the moving back to Sacramento reunion too.
I guess so.
Jeez.
If that's what you want to call it, I guess so.
Mine's a genius.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be fun.
He worked it out.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
How much are tickets that people should go ahead and just pay for?
$30 at the door.
$30. You spend more than that in coffee in a week.
And you will probably spend more than that online. But
Amazon.
if all you can do is pay at the door, it's $30 at the door.
Show up, support.
Yes.
Her phone hasn't been able to get a charge all day. Get off her line. Go.
No.
It is going to be worth it.
Yes.
You have great people performing. A great person is going to be just tearing the place down.
Thank you.
Support. Sacramento, support your own. You got to.
Yes.
Miss Sene,
Yes.
with your history
Yes.
from being independent, major, back to independent, out the game,
Mhm.
finding yourself,
Mhm.
slowly walking back into the game, to now literally back in Cali, kind of like my mom always says, when God restores me,
Mm.
uh, we
Mm.
were going. Mom has been through some things,
Yeah.
and she had to go through this restoration process, and
Yes.
we doing our little thing right now. So I've actually been trying to put myself through a restoration process. Where do you see you now? Because you've kind of gone through your restoration.
Yeah.
I mean, you still, everybody still goes through it, but
Right.
here you are now in this day, in this position.
Mhm.
Are you going to continue to move the way that you've been moving, like a show here and there? If somebody calls you, if you feel the song, kind of thing, or are you eventually going to be? Because you got an event coming up in October,
Correct.
and,
October 1st. Yes.
you kind of like a motivational speaker kind of
Yes.
thing now.
I'm actually going to be singing at this event, but on August 14th, I did speak at a speaking engagement. I am also a personal development coach, and I have gone through domestic violence. I was a victim, then I was a survivor, and now I'm a thriver of, you know,
Okay, victim,
um,
survivor, thriver. I kind of like
yeah,
that.
I thrive in my healing. I think when I think of the term surviving and survival, you always are in a space of desperation when you think of survival mode. And so having survived domestic violence, it still kind of puts you just on the tail end of victimization. And how can you truly get your healing if if you still got one foot in the space of being
Right.
a victim? And it's like, okay, no one's dismissing what you went through. No one's saying that what you experienced wasn't painful, but you gotta come out of that so you can help somebody else. You're good. It didn't kill you.
That's true.
Why do you want to continue to be in a woe is me space? You know, um, you can't thrive there. You can't get anything done there. I had a whole failed marriage because I didn't know that I was in that space. You don't know what you don't know. I didn't know I needed to heal. I didn't know I was toxic. I didn't know that, my I was codependent. I can say that I probably was the victim, not victim, but the villain in that. I can see ways in which I was the villain in that, but I didn't know it. And so when you allow yourself to go through that restoration, because you can't actually take yourself into restoration, you have to be catapulted into restoration.
True.
You know, um, and that's a whole nother story, a whole nother topic for another day. But now that I'm thriving in my healing, I show up as myself 100% all the time, take it or leave it, unapologetically, as they say.
Okay. Okay.
So there's no fear when I, sorry, I had to just
Okay.
so excited.
You just stopped the whole show because. Oh, all right. Say less.
So anyway,
You know,
no, so yeah, now I am building a team for the first time. I have a solid management team for the first time ever. Never ever have I had that. No, I've had people who manage certain parts of my career, but to just manage me as an artist, never really had that. And some people will hear this and be like, well, what was I doing? We all didn't know what the hell we was doing. We was all over the place. You didn't know yourself. I didn't know myself. People want to say they're helping, but and we again we don't know what we don't know. And people were good for those roles at that time. They served their purpose on my journey, me
right.
on their journey. We all got hooked up with each other along the way. And now I am in a space where, again, I know myself. I'm thriving in my healing. And I want to make sure that when I step to the mic, that's coming across. Whether I'm speaking, whether I'm singing, but that does come with a good support system. If you don't have a good support system, you really you can't show up. At least I don't think. I'll speak for me. I can't quite show up successfully if I don't have a good support team, support system behind me or undergirding me, if you will.
Now, what did it take for you to build this great team now? Because a lot of people, I mean, you're talking about it, but it took you moons to get to it. So how were you able to now be able to put together this team?
Again, knowing myself and having been a single mom, it's tough to ask for help. It's tough to allow help. You know, people talk about that subject matter of these women out here independent, y'all don't want no help. That's not true, at least not for me, not for most of us. I did go through that space where I'm like, no, I don't need nobody. I don't It wasn't that I didn't need anyone, but when you have been thrust into single parenthood and you happen to be a single mother, you are now taking on some of those male aspects like providing and being the disciplinarian
Right.
and having to go do this and having to figure it out, having to fix it. There's little time to be that nurturer. Um, Women are designed to, for lack of a better term, sit and be pretty. I don't want to say that like that, but that's we.
Yeah, you're going to catch heat for that one. That was her, that wasn't me. But
We
it's
can talk about that. I
the
don't
truth,
care.
the truth.
I don't care. I had to learn how to be a woman. That's how I was able to get the help. I had to learn how to sit and relax and let things come to me. Not be afraid to ask for help. Being vulnerable, being able to say, I need help. I still have issues with asking for help, but now I don't deny it when it
No,
comes to me.
not true. Nuh-uh. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just found out at first. Sene has a problem with asking for help. Who didn't know that?
The people that don't know me, that are listening and are watching.
They gonna know now. Because, woo, woo. But anyways,
It is what I'm learning though. You know that I think that's another thing about knowing yourself is being okay with saying, hey, I need to grow in this area. People like to say, well, you never stop healing. That's like saying this cut on my arm ain't never gonna heal. It's always healing. You got to heal at some point in order to recognize when and where you need to shift and when and where you need. Just because you may still need to change and shift in areas doesn't mean that you're not healed. I can't be an unhealed person not being accountable and not being aware of myself. You know what I'm saying? Unhealed people don't have the ability to be aware of themselves. Um, that was another thing I had to learn. You know, it's a lot that I had to learn, and you know, being again being a woman, especially being a woman in this industry, it's tough.
yeah. Like everybody wants to sit back and hot girl summer and Cardi B and the Stallion and everything, but we talk crazy about them now and the things that they do, but we don't know the journey they went through to even get to that level. Because you get these dudes in the industry that make these promises and they can do this and they can do that and they're gonna take you here, they're gonna take you there, and the minute you say no,
And it does cause you to put up this guard, and it causes you to be hard. I don't want that. I
now
don't want that.
do you still consider this industry fun?
Industry is never fun. Business is never fun. Showing up to do what I do, yes. I've been able to find the
So you
love
still
in it again.
love?
I, I, I've been able to find it again.
You
I
lost the
felt it.
love for singing?
Yes, because when we did the Black Eyed Peas tour, people thought that we were about to be famous, and so it was a lot of pressure. Inbox lit. Yo, put me on, put me on, put me on, put me on. We ain't even on. What do you want me to do?
You said that back then. I remember having this conversation with you back then. You're like, how are these people hitting me talking about put them on and I'm not on?
What do you want
That's
me to do?
crazy. Like, I can't, when you were telling me that, it's hard to believe that people were actually making those calls to you. Like, you had just recently inked and shipped out to go do performances, and they just thought they were going to be able to just
How about we didn't even ink yet?
mm, and people just that entitled.
Well, I take that back. We inked with you're right, we did with Keith Harris. He's the drummer for the Black Eyed Peas. He's also the one who wrote and produced American Boy for Estelle. That's who we were signed to. So yes, you're absolutely right. We were on tour with the Black Eyed Peas under Keith Harris Productions. But um, I was trying to get back to the original point. Um, shoot. Yes. So when we after we left the tour, so what a lot of people never knew is I lost my house right before we went on tour. I also lost my car before, right days before we went on tour, because I was very naive and I was very irresponsible, and um, I thought we are about to be famous. It's about to be it. I didn't think any more work had to go into it. Like I thought that we getting started. So now after we do this tour, we getting picked up.
Ching ching.
I was back in my mom and dad's house, and they're like, "So when are you getting a job? When are you getting out?" I was like, "Oh." And so at that point, I wanted the want and the desire to sing. I wanted the want and the desire to be on stages, because again, I didn't know who I was, and I was very insecure. I was looking for the applause. I needed this outward validation. I needed people to tell me that I sound good. I needed people to clap for me. I'd gotten so used to it, and I didn't want to sing anymore because I was like, it's painful. This is now actually painful. I don't want this anymore because every time I sing, I'm gonna want somebody to tell me that I sound good, because then if they don't tell me that I sound good, then I'm gonna think that I shouldn't sing anymore. I was very insecure. Very insecure.
I did not know that,
Oh yeah.
and that's weird. For me to sit up
Yeah.
and hear now that you were insecure in the music game, I won't say weird anymore.
You're good, bro.
No, I'm done with weird.
I get it.
I'm striking.
No.
That's gone.
It's
Anybody
good.
out there, y'all hear me say weird? Come on, psst, don't say weird. Don't say shh. So it's strange for me to hear because I know the bloodline, and I know the strength that you have put out and exhibited through the years. So for me to sit here and hear that you were in an insecure state of mind is very hard for me to grasp,
Yeah.
because
I knew that I could sing, but I didn't think I was that good. Like I just was like, y'all gassing. Whatever.
okay, how do you feel about that now? Do you think you can finally sing?
Yes.
Okay, God damn it, it's about time, because you sang
Thank you.
like there.
If it doesn't feel good to me,
You
I
were
don't want
doing R&B as a female in Sacramento. At one point in time, I didn't know there was another R&B female in Sacramento.
yeah.
Like you were like one of the first that I really got to know. Like there were a couple here and there that would do some hooks,
Hmm.
but as far as like putting out just a solid, this is how you do this.
Mouthpiece was one of those artists.
Yeah,
Mouthpiece
I
has put
didn't
out.
know Mouthpiece.
Okay, got you, got you.
I didn't
She
know
has
Mouthpiece.
albums out.
Yeah.
Like, she has records.
She's great. I
Yeah.
didn't know her. I didn't know of her. My first person to get to know was you.
Yeah.
So
Yes, I have found the love for it again. But going through that experience was very tough because when we got off the tour, nobody was calling me. Everybody thought we was into the stratosphere. I'm over it. My mom and dad's couch like,
is this thing really in charge?
nobody wants to work with me. Am I still good? Like this? Can I still sing? you know,
Yeah, you weren't getting no support of that in your household, because
girl, bye.
yeah.
You are 31.
Mm. Especially,
But I was
from Mr. Tommy
I
Goss.
was grateful
Ooh.
though when
Lord have mercy.
I had a chance to move back in with my parents in 2018, and we had that healing. We had healing that took place between us, and I explained to them there was a lot of pressure for me to do the exact opposite of what I was born to do and what I saw you all do. Like, this is what you guys lived and breathed in front of me.
Right?
What did you expect me to do? And they were like, wow, we didn't even realize that. Your children will do as you do, not do as you say. That's all I know is music. That's all I know is performing. That's all I know is stage. But yeah, yes. To answer the question, the love is back. I'm doing it for fun, but at the same time, I'm also, like I said, building a team so that I can make better business decisions.
Now, you get your team,
Yes,
or you have your team,
yes,
so we're able to do the better business decisions.
correct. And
When
protection and not be as accessible.
when do we get to have fun and get back in the studio?
I don't know yet.
I'm
Look,
gonna have to call a
management.
team. I'm gonna have to call a team because team, y'all need to work on this. I need to know these things. So
I have to decide what it is that I want to put out because I'm kind of just getting back out. You know what I mean? I'm just getting back
yeah,
out.
you disappeared. I
Yeah.
mean, flashbang, boom, ninja, gone. Then all of a
Yes.
sudden, I see a flyer. Shout out Blueprint. I call you thinking like you finna fly in to do the show. No, Shadow. I've been here since. What? You just gonna sneak in? Don't tell nobody.
No.
Just came in here like you was getting over the Trump wall. Shit, crazy. Yeah, because you really just snuck in. We have to check
Yeah.
your papers.
Oh, wow. Wow. It's so dramatic.
Hey, what you're saying? You really, like Chicago is on a different planet. I mean,
Listen,
technically it is,
when you
but
get a taste of country life, when you can live on acres,
yeah. Let's get into that. How you go from city, Cali, West Coast living? Let's do the tours. We're gonna do the Sacramento thing. We're gonna do all this, and you literally moved out to the grass. First of all, I didn't even know it was grass in Chicago anymore. I figured everything was a building.
well, I hear you kind of like New York.
Yeah,
Yeah.
rows in the concrete.
Yes. Yes.
You was literally in the woods.
Literally. Huh?
Uh,
So when I spoke earlier on my grandparents moving their families, mom and dad, to the country, rural Illinois. Mom was born in Chicago Heights. Dad is from the west side of Chicago, originally born in Mississippi. And so, what was happening around that time in the 60s, that was the rise of gangster disciples and vice lords and all of that. Well, my grandfather, my mom's parents, they didn't want them around that. And the same for my dad's parents. And, it was a lot more pressure on boys to
right.
be, initiated into gangs and all this other stuff. And so my dad was a part of the Black Panther. It was a big deal when the Black Panthers brought their breakfast program to Chicago, and kids could have free meals and all that. My dad was a part of that program. He was one of the children that was able to benefit from the Black Panthers. So
Okay.
you had the Black Panthers going on. It was a lot. It was very volatile, and so my grandparents were like, we don't want our children around this, so they moved them to the country. And my parents, when they got older, ended up moving to the nearest city, which is Kankakee, which is where I was born, between the country and Chicago.
Okay.
So in the end of 2018, I'm going through a divorce and a separation, and I'm like, okay, God, where do we go now? And it was, I remember November 2018, I journaled every place that my sons and I could go where I knew that I could still be a working artist, we'd still get support. So I put down home, and a couple of other places. I woke up sometime in December, and I remember hearing this. No, I was in meditation. I had a show, a corporate gig for Google that next day. I went to bed, woke up that day. No, went to bed the day before, and as clear as day, I was in meditation. God said, "Go home. Go home." That's the word. And long story short, I went and I did it, and I was so confused. I was like, "Why do you have me here?
Snuck her in too.
What? Why am I in Illinois? Why am I back in the country?" Before I left, I made sure that I set up photo shoots, talked to photographers. I did that. I was also gonna act. I had an audition, did that. Gonna do a few other things, and then it didn't continue. And a lot of people like to think, oh, it didn't work out. No, it worked out. That's just how far that was gonna go. You had plans on seeing it go further. God said, nope. Okay, it's cool. Got it. Done. I need you over here.
How many God didn't say over here. God said, I'm gonna put you out here, cause
Yeah,
your ass was in the. Like I
sticks.
said, I didn't know.
Across the so we were on 1 acre. Across the street was cornfield. To the
See,
east
I didn't even know
was
that was in Chicago.
woods. Yeah. So Chicago is literally 57, 56 square miles uh, big.
Building.
But where I was, it is also the same size of Chicago, but it's just rural and it's so spread out.
See, that's
And
kind
you
of like
don't know that.
Atlanta. It's like Atlanta. Like people say, because people ask me, where you from? I'm from Georgia. Oh, you were in Atlanta? No,
No.
no, no. Well, I'm from Georgia. Like,
Right.
not never lived in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Driven through, visited every now and then.
Yeah.
But I'm from a little bitty town called Thomasville.
Right.
Little bitty town. We
Yeah.
a speck on the damn map. But people always want to, like I assumed, you was in a high-rise building somewhere, and
I was on an acre of land.
yeah,
Next door,
getting
next
snowed in.
right next door neighbors were goats and
See,
lamb.
I
But it was beautiful. I needed it. Oh my God, I needed it. So when I came back here, I literally felt like a fish out of water, and I was like, please take me back. I want to go back. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that solace, that serenity. I enjoyed it. It
okay,
was
so
quiet.
I'm gonna let it be known we are going to tag Sene, and we will be able to follow her wherever she goes, because she's going to disappear again.
Oh,
She's going to disappear again.
I'm not.
And we're going to have to find out the trail, like, when the great blue whales or the lions
location.
or the great animals on the plains are going, and,
Not National Geographic.
yeah, because your ass will get up
Jeez.
in a minute and be out. So we're going to have to tag you. So if y'all see her walking around with some pretty jewelry that you ain't never seen it before, like, how did you get that? And she goes, I don't know.
I was tagged. Wow.
Tagged her. Gotcha. Oh yeah, it's coming. Yeah, it's coming.
Cattle.
Coming. You gonna be on stage singing. What? What was that?
You know what? Not the kank. So anyway,
I'm just saying.
so there's a song called "The Kank." Remember when the girl, I forget her name, the artist rapper in Atlanta, put out the song called "Not Atlanta." Roswell is not Atlanta.
Yeah, I forget her name, but yeah, she was
Not
going.
Atlanta.
She was fighting Luda with that one.
Somebody from the town that I'm from, called Kankakee, did a song called "The Kank." They're naming all these small unknown towns that no one knows about. Talking about is not the Kank. Chicago is not the Kank. Listen, and when I tell you that Chicagoans are going in like, bruh, nobody wants to be from the Kank, and so that's my honey joking around about that song.
Okay, because I was
It's
wondering. I
it's
thought it was a
embarrassing.
typo. I ain't gonna even lie. I was like,
I knew
somebody.
exactly what.
Somebody
he's
was
petty.
just leaning on the keyboard.
He's
where
petty.
the cat came up. But,
The Kank. No, he's petty.
Okay. Well, we now have our education in that. Okay, Miss Sene.
Yeah.
It has been.
But yes, thank you for having me.
Oh my God! It has been so great to have you here. When I booked you for this show, it was instant excitement because I can't even remember the last time I seen you.
I know, right?
Like literally, cannot remember the last time I blinked at you. Like it's crazy.
I remember when Dad hired you to take me to my 10-year class reunion, bro. I was like, Dad, are you serious?
That
Yeah, you got
was-
security. For what?
he it was a list.
You had a list?
It was things that could be done, couldn't be done. If it starts, it should never be done. It was crazy. Like it was so much pressure on me for me just to escort you security wise to your own high school reunion. Like you really
I
had
was a
no
whole
idea.
28 years old.
Not Mr. Goss. You were a whole 2-year-old. The only thing that I damn near had to walk you in there hand in hand Like, it,
But wouldn't that have been too much too? Or?
oh yeah, that definitely would have been too much because we won't even get into the threats I got for that. But like, literally,
Oh,
if a hug was too long, bro,
You did.
you can come
You
off that.
barely even talked to me. I was like, "Hey, what's up? What's up?" You was like, "How you doing?"
You come off that
I was
hug,
like,
bro.
"Does this guy talk?"
No, he did not. He wasn't there for that. Your classmates were enjoying your presence, but they had no idea how much danger they could possibly be in for doing the wrong thing. It was scary. Drinks that you were being handed. You didn't get that drink handed directly to you. I was able to grab the drink and then hand it to you. That was on purpose. That wasn't just because I was closer to you. No, you weren't going to get that drink unless I saw it. If anything was fizzing in that drink, I was supposed to hurt somebody. Oh, it was a detail. You were under tactical surveillance
This
and
was
security.
2007, yo. But so that I know I saw you. I'm gonna get to that in a minute. I didn't forget.
Okay. BP Music Group,
Yes.
BPM Music Group is saying,
Website.
yes,
The website.
yes,
Yeah, we're gonna get to
all
that.
upcoming
Yes.
events and news.
Yes.
SeneGoss.com.
Yes.
We'll get to that in a second.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes. No. I was just saying like that was the last.
I remember
I know
that.
that wasn't the last
That
time,
wasn't
but
last.
I mean, shoot.
I really just can't remember like that event. That was a solid event. I remember that. Anything past that, passing, going,
Yeah.
saying hi,
Did I see you at church? Cause weren't you and mom going to Faith Fellowship?
yeah.
Yep.
Is that last person I saw?
I think so. I want to say yes. I was either pregnant with Tyler or I had him. And he's 18 now. So I've seen you since I've had a child. I know that much. I'll say I've seen you the last 18 years. We can say that.
Yeah, yeah. We can definitely say that.
Yes.
Just don't know exactly where, but we can definitely say that.
Yeah.
So,
But yeah, it's been good, yo.
BPM Music Group. Let's get into that. How can they find out about things about you, where to go, where
So
you're gonna be
BPM
performing and
Music
things
will be
like
my
that? Gotcha.
management, yes.
Remember that.
And you can check me out on my website at www.senegoss.com. That is Senegoss, SENEGOSS.com. Huh?
You will be hearing her as a
I'm
voice.
also on Instagram. I'm also on Instagram at Sene_Goss. Yes.
So if people wanted to get a hold of you to do a song, a show, a feature, again, please let them know how to get a hold of you.
www.senegoss.com. That's Senegoss.com.
BPM Music Group, y'all got that one for free.
That's my management team.
See, y'all got that one for free. Next time, I'm gonna have to dig in BPM Music Group's little pocket because.
Hey, we can start that too.
Hey.
Gee whiz.
Need mine. I do appreciate BPM Music Group for taking on the task of managing
Yes.
and guiding and working with this great person to my left
Thank you.
with talents that are through the roof. I hope you guys are able to take her to levels that she's never been to before, if that's even possible. Miss Goss,
What's up?
it has been an absolute joy and pleasure
Likewise.
to have you here,
This
and
is
an
fun.
honor here on my platform,
Yes.
talking and getting to know the ins, the outs, the wheres, the who's that you've been dealing with from, what was it you said, from 19
Yeah, 19 years.
to now, to Saturday. That's what you said,
Yeah,
19
right.
to Saturday.
Yeah.
I
From
want to thank you.
1998 to 2022. Jeez.
You have to put the numbers up. Wow, it was better 19 till Saturday,
Oh, okay.
but that's a long damn time. And now to know that 18.
I feel like you're about to say something really rude.
Nope.
You did. That's a long time. Wow.
No, I didn't mean it like that.
I'm kidding.
I didn't mean it like that.
Trying to call me ancient.
I escorted you to the high school reunion and was ready to murder everybody up in there on the name and the calling from Tommy Goss. You
Yeah, this
have
was great, yo.
you have no idea how endangered the people are.
I don't want to know.
Oh my God.
I don't want to know. If you got a chance to sit through this whole interview, I appreciate you guys for staying with
Yes,
us
we
and
have been
watching. Thank
we
you.
have been getting reconnected. So I
Yeah.
do appreciate the fact that you guys have stuck it out,
Yes.
watched, supported, giving comments. The Kank and BPM Music Group letting it be known.
You had to bring up the king. That was so unnecessary.
That's hey, when it's being put. When I saw it, I was like, somebody needs to learn how to type. Like, 'cause what the fuck is?
And I
Kank?
saw. I knew exactly what it was. Like,
I didn't even pay attention. I just looked over real quick, like, somebody needs to learn how to type. That's really on the gram. Like, you can't type. No, it's an actual word. The Kank. You ought to get
It is.
shirts. Send it over there.
Well, we know now that it wasn't.
Mm. Yeah, it wasn't type.
It wasn't.
But
Thank you for having me.
thank you for allowing me to have you here and blessing my platform. This is my vision, and to have artists of your caliber and from this area and beyond, because you from the Kank. Yeah, I ain't gonna let that go. We gonna ride the Kank for a
See
while.
what you did?
We gonna ride the Kank
See what
for a
you did?
while. The Kank, Kank or die. That sounds like something you get on your arm. Use a cream. Like, I got the Kank, bro. This shit itches.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. I'm sure he's on the other side of that screen chuckling. He thinks that's funny.
It is funny.
He's probably texting me right now.
It is absolutely hilarious.
Mm.
Man, did you hear about Bobby? What happened? That brother got the Kank, bro. That's almost as bad as COVID, bro. you got COVID,
Mask
monkeypox, and the Kank.
They can't mask it.
Listen, man,
Gross.
thank you very much for coming out. This has been
Yes.
Miss Sene Goss, shining bright in the spotlight here on hype-radio.com. Make sure y'all follow. Hype Radio is real.
Yes.
Make sure that you follow and support Miss Goss, Sene _ Goss, Goss. For those who can't spell, SENE _ GOSS. Support,
That's
follow.
on Instagram.
If you can't do it that way, I'm sure that
Senegos.com. What's website?
let's do that one more time.
Senegos.com.
Make sure you go and follow it. Get connected. I'm your man Shadow. This is hype-radio.com. This has been the Spotlight. And I want to say thank you to everybody who's been watching, supporting. We got some other interviews coming up. And we are going to be bringing Miss Goss back. Like I said, she's going to be tagged. If she starts moving outside of city limits, I'll go get her. We'll bring her back to the Pride. And we're going to keep her here. You can go to the Kank on vacation.
No. Nope.
Who the hell came up with the word the
You gotta ask him.
Kank?
Are you gonna play the song? The boy?
You know what? Yeah. Let's get in that real quick. So you and Bueno came up with this smash hit. How did y'all connect up? Because obviously Bueno knew you was in town before I knew you was in town.
Well, yes, but he didn't know. He just happened to reach out. He was like, "Hey, I wanna. Are you in town? Yeah, been back for a minute. Where you wanna link up?"
See, that's just unfair.
That's how we did that.
That's just
10
unfair.
years since we worked together.
Oh. That's right. You're getting it right. So he just hit you out of the blue and y'all went to the studio? Where was the production? Who did the production?
Oh man, Chio. I need to find and let me pull him up.
Go ahead, take your time.
Thank you. And Airplay Beats.
Airplay Beats.
Yes, Airplay Beats, and they are a production team out here in Sacramento.
Okay,
Take
so
your time.
what was the who came up with what first? Like, did you come up with the hook first, or did he already
No,
have his?
so he already had an idea. He sent me the track, and then he said, "You remember, Mama used to say, yeah, Mama used to say, yeah, I remember that song. All right, cool. That's pretty much all you're gonna do." I was like, "Oh, okay." Went to the studio, and that was it.
No, what's crazy is.
And he had the concept already done. It was already.
Now that sounds
I
like
just
Bueno.
needed to show up and sing.
Bueno really comes prepared for his
Yeah,
for what he needs to do.
yeah,
He's a monster that way.
yeah.
But he's gonna be pissed off at me for a second for some reason.
Uh-oh.
I can't get it to load up, and we were just listening to it. Yeah, I don't think I like that. No, I don't like that at all. We got some weird shit right now. But those who haven't heard it, it's been in rotation now for weeks. It's going to stay in rotation. I think that's what's caused me not to be able to play it now because I've been playing it earlier. And I'm trying to figure out how you're going to tell me what I can't do with what I run. And that's what it's telling me. You ain't gonna be able to play this. That's not cool with me.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, how you gonna whistle perfectly? Okay, I ain't crazy. Maybe a little bit off, but I ain't crazy. So, you want to go ahead and introduce the single that you are doing the feature on?
This is Take Your Time, Bueno, featuring Sene.
And on this one, we gonna walk out the door on this. So, make sure y'all.
no? Okay.
You stop that. Stop when you get us.
Oh, oops.
Make sure y'all listen to HypeDashRadio.com. This is in rotation here. Shout out to Bueno. Shout out to the lovely, the angelic voice of Miss Sene Goss of BPM Music Group at SeneGoss.com. Gotcha. I holler at y'all. It was fun.
Yeah,
So
man.
get this to play.
I wake up, I say a prayer, then I put it in the air. You broke with no money, you scared to go to jail. Little nigga, you scared of fair. You eyeball everything, I'm putting it on the scale. Way before selfies, I was off else. Fat pockets with the syrup, nigga wasn't help. Heads blood got the word, selling that shelf. Lately, niggas hate me, but can't help it. You ain't a gangster, you ain't gotta be one. That was me out there at Ferrari with Natalie Nunn. Nigga, my young goons going powder their guns. Bounce out street sweeping with the gallon gun. You know the game all full of these frauds, I'm not feeling it. I done seen bras get on just off internet. Every nigga on, every nigga the nigga, every other nigga a killer that ain't killing shit.
Take your time, young man. Mama used to say, don't you rush to get old. Mama used to say, take it all in stride.
Y'all hear what's going on. You want your song to be as great as this and others,
With the Rico, everything ain't
you
hood.
need to go ahead and put the right ingredients on your song. Miss Sene is that right ingredient to make your song great. Tap in, SeneGoss.com. Make sure you tap in. This Saturday,
the
Blueprint
Entertainment
Entertainment has got a show at the Stars Room, downtown Sacramento. $30 to get in. Doors open at 7 o'clock.
Above Harlem.
Above Harlow's. You can call Momo's. It's not a Starling room. Go to Harlow's. They'll tell you how to get there. Make sure you go there and show you support your love. Greatness is basically welcome back to Sacramento tour. That's what it is. Shout out to Mom for putting together. We out of here. Y'all be safe. That's crazy.